Okay, so we're going to pick up where we last left off. I guess where we left off, we were looking at the total count of stock prices, stock names, the date, time. So the next thing that we need to look at is scheduling this process. So we can schedule this two ways. We can schedule this using SQL Server Agent. So that's going to schedule the SSIS job. That's what loads the data into the warehouse. The other schedule we're going to need to do is with Python. So that's actually what makes this project kind of cool, is scheduling an application that gives us data to work with. So before we even do that, we're going to look at the two conflicting schedules because we want to make sure that the Python script has completed first before we schedule our SSIS job. So earlier when I was saying that this process is kind of lengthy, let's take a look at that now and see just how lengthy it is exactly. So we're going to take a look at, capitalize this, stock name, stock price, and stock time from our Python table. But we don't actually want all of these columns right now. We just want to look at the date time. And like we said earlier, this is a varchar, this is not a timestamp, so let's actually cast this as a date time. For whatever reason, date time, we can't cast it just as date time, we have to cast this as date time 2. So we'll do that. We can see that this is actually a timestamp now, or date time. And so we're going to look at the minimum date time, and we're also going to look at the maximum. And now we want to do a difference in those. So what we can do is a diff. We'll do seconds. We're going to put the first one down. And we'll do the second. What we're doing is a difference between the minimum and the maximum. This is going to give us a number of seconds that this program takes, which we could change this part here from second to minutes, but let's just go ahead and just do this as a function. So we're going to divide this out by 60, and we're going to call this Python. So we see here's our Python program. It took about 76 minutes to run. So why that's important, we want to schedule our Python program to run, and then we want to give at least 76 minutes for this program to run before we schedule our SSIS job. So I'm going to say, instead of just an hour and 15 minutes, let's bump it up to 2 hours. So we'll keep that in mind for later, but for right now, we'll just say this job. Python job takes around 76 minutes. Round up to 2 hours. That's just a personal note for us. So the next thing we need to do is actually find a way to schedule our Python script to run. I think the best thing to do, we can do this a couple of ways. We can do this through a Windows scheduler task, but I don't think this is much fun. So let's go ahead and just do this in Python itself. So if we bounce over here to our beta application that we had from before, what we were doing was we were copying this data to, well, we were running the program and then we were writing it to an output file. We put this T here because we're capturing the timestamp associated. But one thing that's important to note is that if we come over here to our files, each time that we run this program, so let's say that we run this same output t.csv file again, it's going to overwrite what we have here, which is fine. That's kind of what we want. But it's just something to keep in mind. So basically, if you want to keep all of these CSV files, you're going to need to change this each time, but we're not going to do that. I'm going to minimize this for just a second. So what we are going to need to do, though, is we're going to need to add a scheduler in here. So we're going to import CHEDULE, and we're also going to, where this is length of symbol list, we are going to do a much smaller version of this. So we're going to do this less than 5. And we are also going to comment out, we're writing this, and we are just going to print this time. So let's go ahead and add this piece here. Let's say at the time. What we're basically going to do is we're just going to print this, but we're going to notice that this schedule is actually not part of our built-in library. So we can take a trial run of this and just see what happens. We're going to save this. Oops. File. Let's just save this as beta. Schedule. So save that. We're going to run this now. And it should. There's an error in your program. Okay. Kind of what I expected. I didn't necessarily expect it to be this. So let's give this a comma. We should still have an error though. The error should be about the schedule. Yeah, let's save it. Okay, so I want to do that so I can show you how to do a pip install. So we come to our command line. We just say pip install. The program that we're going to be installing is schedule. So this should be pretty quick. Okay, so we have the necessary package installed now. So let's get out of there. So the next thing we want to do is actually add some scheduling to this. So I'm going to go ahead and I'd like to pause this if I could. But I don't know how to pause this, so we're just going to keep going. So I'm going to hop over here to my cheat sheet. So we need to define this job. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to define job. And we have to tab this entire thing out. We'll probably switch over to a little bit better editor later so that I can do this all at once. And let's hop back over to my cheat sheet. So the job is defined. So we're going to go ahead and add the schedule feature to it. So we're going to schedule this every 10 seconds. So